Hey, it's Linda again, and now we want to talk about the different kinds of questions that we can use in Google Forms. So the previous video was all about the settings, and now what I want to do is talk to you about how you can set up your Google Form. So under this first thing, you see how it's highlighted? Once you highlight it, you can actually add a section. Now I choose to do this because I want to collect student information. And one of the big tips for Google Forms is that you want to make sure that you know who submitted the Google form. So therefore, my tip is that you need to put a question that allows the student to type their name. So you can, for the younger students, you could have them, in a multiple choice, you could have them select their name. For students that are old enough to type in their name, I just have them type in their name. Now I'm going to change this to no points because students don't earn points in my class for putting their name. And I can duplicate this question. I can add a question. So when after you get the section, then I'm going to add another question. And this time my question is going to be select your class period from the drop down menu. And so what I want to do is, you notice that changed, the drop down changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do first period, second period, and you can do this however best fits your class. For me, it's just by class. So, and I make all of my Google Forms with these choices so that if my planning ever were to change or my classes were to change, I don't put the class name. And I'm also going to make this 0 points because students don't earn credit for filling that out. Now, I'm going to now add another section, and I'm just going to give a brief instruction like complete the following questions. And now I am ready for content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another question. And once I add another question, I can choose between short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, checkbox, drop down. I can upload a file if I want. I can do a linear scale. I can do grid choice or checkbox grid. And all of these are very good options. So we're going to play around with a couple of them. For now, I'm just going to do a multiple choice question, and I'm going to say, what is today? And I'm going to click here, and I'm going to put Monday. And you'll see that Google is going to try to give me options, and I'm going to put add all. Now I'm going to put, because I'm going to make this a quiz, I have to click on answer key to tell the Google form what today is. So today is Sunday, and I'm going to click done. Now when my students go in to fill this out, if they click on anything that is not correct, it'll mark it wrong. I also want to point out to you that these questions, I have them marked required, and so that was in the settings video. So now I'm going to add another question, and this question is going to be, what is your favorite school? So I'm going to let this be a drop down, just to show you different ones, or I could do check boxes. Let's do check boxes. So I'm going to put I'm going to put EBA. I'm going to put TJ. I'm going to put Brentwood, and I'm going to put Briarwood. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. All right. So now we have Briarwood. And so clearly we have a choice of, clearly our favorite school is EVA. So we're going to click that. Now remember, if I wanted to, I can also add student feedback. So when they get the, so this is the correct answer, and I can put, yay, of course. But, and I can hit save. Now I can also do incorrect answers. So I can say, of course, or let's just say EVA is the correct answer. Now when my students get their Google form back, I could give them a link, I could give them a video, I can give them something to help them improve, and I'm just going to hit save. So now the feedback is, if you get this correct, I'm going to say yay, of course. If you chose TJ, Brentwood, or Briarwood, then I would put EVA is the correct answer, and I accidentally put an S. So let's save that. So I'll show you what that looks like as we go through the Google form. I'm going to add another question, and this time I'm going to do a short answer question. So this time I'm just going to ask my students to add, and I'm just going to say 14 plus 16. Now, I want them to do a constructed response. In other words, not give them choices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the answer key, and I'm going to type in the correct answer and any other answer that you would accept. So in this case, I'm only going to accept 30. That's the only way you can write it. There's nothing else that you can do. So now I'm going to mark all other answers as incorrect. Now I'm going to do another question that is short answer, just to kind of show you what some other options may look like. So I may say, what is our school mascot? And so, of course, I want the students to type this in. So I'm going to click answer key, and now I'm going to type what I would accept as the right answer. So I'm going to do Spartans, but then they don't necessarily have to capitalize the S, or it could all be capitalized. So whatever I want to accept as the correct answer, and I'm going to mark all of the other answers incorrect. Now remember, Google Forms is live, so you can, if you decide that you want to change this, even after you've given your students the link, you can easily change this. And again, we have this answer, add answer feedback if we wanted to do that. I also want to point out to you that each one of these questions is required. And I want to go back up. I should have shown you right here. If I click done, we also have these 3 dots. Now what this does is it will allow me to shuffle option order. So what's going to happen with that toggled is I'm going to make sure that every time a different student opens up, the choices are going to be in different order. Now remember, in settings we already have the questions shuffled, and this is just a way to shuffle the option order or the multiple choice part that I give to them. I am almost done with my quiz. I've got 80 points. I'm going to do one more question, and my last question is what are our school colors? Now I can choose to let this be however I want. I could actually say how are you liking this class? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give it a linear scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put I'm going to assign this no points, and I am going to put not liking the class. I am learning new things. So that's 1 to 5, and I'm not going to give that a question. I'm not going to give that points because there's no correct answer. It's just an opinion. So then I'm going to go up here. And by the way, y'all, these little 6 dots, I can move the questions around as I want. And that's kind of a cool feature too, so that they don't have to be in a specific order. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more question so that I can get up to 100. And here I'm going to say, what are our school colors? And I'm going to actually let this be a checkbox. And I'm going to do red, and I'm going to do white, and I'm going to do blue, and I'm going to do yellow. Now, we have two options that are correct. So in the answer key, we must type red and white, or click red and white. They have to get them both right to earn the 20 points. And in the directions, I'm going to say select 2. And put parentheses around that. So then it kind of gives my students a little bit of direction in what I want to do. Now, what I can do, I do have the student information in a separate section, and then I have my questions in a separate section as well. So what I want to do now is I want to show you what this might look like if a student is actually doing this. So what I'm going to do is, this is how the student would open the Google form. And what I did, you just click the preview button, the I right here, and it's going to tell me to go ahead and fill out the Google form. So I'm going to type my name, and then I'm going to select that I'm in first period, and I'm going to hit next. Now, in the sections, I want to point out that you can hit the back button. So your students are allowed to hit the back button and go back to the previous section, which is kind of neat depending on what kind of questions you might have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select red and white. I'm going to select Spartans. And I am, of course, loving this class. I'm going to get this one wrong. I'm going to say that the answer is 29. My favorite school, of course, is EBA, and today is Sunday. Now, I noticed that this question doesn't have the points, but that's okay. And if I wanted to put this in a different section, I could have. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually submit this. And you'll see the message that I put in the settings video. It will also show me their score. So I got 80 out of 100 right. Remember, I intentionally missed the math question just to kind of show you what it would look like. I also want to show you the student feedback. So right here is where your students could get feedback. Now, if they miss the question, you can make a link to a video, or you can make an image that you want them to go over as well. So these are just some of the ways that you can do questions in a Google form. If we go back here, I'll make another video about responses, but for now, if you click on responses, you can just see it kind of sums up my answers, and it will give you a little summary. But I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. Hope you learned something, and if you have questions, let me know.